Happy Sunday morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Sarasota. My name is Ron Frost, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. And I want to begin by greeting you with the word Namaste. Namaste is a Sanskrit word which means the divinity within me recognizes, honors, and blesses the divinity within you. Now, at this moment, when we get together, one of the first things that we do is we recite our community declaration. The words for the community declaration are on your screen now. Please join in with me in reciting them out loud together. We are a spiritual center that honors all paths to God. Ours is a positive message, inspiring our possibilities and offering spiritual tools for transforming our lives and helping to make the world a better place. Here we can find peace of mind, belonging to a spiritual home, and a personal relationship with a God of our understanding. We are here to discover what we already know. And now it's that time when we go into a peaceful prayer and meditation. So center yourself, sit comfortably, breathe, relax, and let's listen to Bob Teesdale as he leads this with a chant called When I Forget.
When I forget, will you remember for me? When I forget, will you remember for me? Help me see what you see when I forget. When you forget, I will remember for you. When you forget, I will remember for you. I will see what you can see when you forget. When you forget.
There are moments when I do forget. I forget what my purpose, what my path is, forget why I'm even here, or what life is truly all about. But there's one certainty that I know, that at the core being of everything, that there is this divine presence, this one thing, whether we call it source, whether we call it divine love, beauty of the universe, or simply by the word God. It is that one harmonious essence that lives, breathes, and exists within all life. It's within the heavens, it's within this planet that we live on. It's within all living things. All time, past, present, and future. It's within the very breath that we breathe, that which beats our heart. So as I know this truth of this divine source creator, this thing that we call God, I know that it lives, exists, and breathes within me and through me and represents the very essence of my life. I know it's within the very words of this prayer that I utter at this moment. And I also know this truth for every divine sacred being that is tuning in to this broadcast right here and right now. I know this truth for the community of the Center for Spiritual Living, Sarasota, as well as for all humanity. That there is, regardless of how uncertain our world may be at times or how scary it may seem, that there is this degree of 100% certainty that God will find its way. The divine presence knows exactly what to do, and it serves truthfully the highest and best, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So with that trust and that faith that God is in this moment, that is something that I shall never forget. And it's with gratitude, with appreciation and love, that I anchor these words in prayer into the infinite, all-knowing, all-loving law of mind. And so it is. Today we are excited to bring back Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones with his message called The Art of Uncertainty. It's also a title of one of his books, a book that I have personally read and I would highly recommend to anyone. He's written many other books: The Art of Abundance, The Art of Being, Your Redefining Moments, How to Speak Science of Mind, and another book called Encouraging Words. He's also written in Science of Mind magazine, as well as Huffington Post. Now, recently, Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones has moved to St. Petersburg, Florida, just up the road. Previously, he was the senior minister for the Center for Spiritual Living in Simi Valley, California, but now he's a resident of Florida, and we're blessed by him being able to speak at our center as well as other centers as well as unities. While he does his focuses on his writing, he also focuses on mentoring, helping people find their purpose. But before we hear from Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones and The Art of Uncertainty, here's Bob Teesdale again, blessing us with another song. It's a song written by Karen Drucker. It's called Let Go of the Shore. Here's Bob.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. You have all you need, it's all inside of you. Just close your eyes and breathe and know that you are safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. No need to make a plan, your heart will be your compass. Just lift your sails in faith and trust you will arrive. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery.
Looking back through the pages of my life, so young, so restless.
Hey, good to see you. I'm Dennis Merritt Jones, and I want to thank you and your spiritual community for allowing me to be part of your lives today. The very first question that I ask of you, and I always ask this question when I first present with any group, even when I've been with them a number of times, and if I have, you know the question. How are you breathing right now? How are you breathing? The reason I ask this, and I invite you to consider it, is that your breath is what tethers you to the present moment. And when you breathe consciously, it tethers you to the present moment where you're open to experiencing what life has to offer. Life is always waiting for us to show up in the present moment where it's waiting to bestow us with its gifts. So I say to you right now, breathe and welcome to the present moment. This morning, let's get to the party. I'm going to be speaking to you on a topic that I love. It's based on my book, The Art of Uncertainty, How to Live in the Mystery of Life and Love It. And if you consider it, life has been uncertain from the day we got here, and it will be until the day we leave. It's a mystery. And even more so, if you think about it, we come from the ultimate mystery. Who knows where we came from? Who knows? But our soul essence lands in these garments of flesh and bone for a period of years, and then when it's ready to go on to what's next, it ejects and goes back into the ethers from which it came. These bodies are nothing more than carbon-based, biodegradable, disposable vessels that we use on a temporary basis. What's not mysterious about that? But what's equally mysterious is that from the time we get here until the time we leave, from that very first breath we take until the last one, life is equally uncertain. And yet we go on pretending that it's not until something pops up in front of us, like an epidemic or a pandemic, that causes us to really come to the edge of our beliefs and question what's next. We live in great uncertainty. And I want to talk about that today because I think I can give you some tools that help you learn how to live more fully in that presence of uncertainty and live with it in a proactive way. So the question isn't, is life uncertain? It always has been and always will be. Our relationships, nobody knows what's next, what's going on the planet, nobody knows what's next. So the question is, how do we make peace with uncertainty? How do we come to the edge of our uncertainties and learn to live in a proactive way rather than a reactive and fearful way? What if you could take your uncertainties, this is a question I invite you to consider, and look through the new eyes, the new perception, and see life as a mystery. See life as literally as a mystery rather than an uncertainty. Those are two really big differences. The word mystery comes from the root word mystique or mystery, which invites the question: is it possible that you could begin to see life through the eyes of a mystic? A mystic. What is a mystic? A mystic is someone who's clearly spiritualized their life, and they live in a place where they're so aware of that presence within them that goes beyond the veil of the five senses, that person, he or she, can listen to and lean into and allow to guide their lives. And that's what a mystic is, And here's the reality: we're all mystics. Can I get a witness for that? We're all mystics. That's the good news. The other news is some of us are optimistics, yeah, and some of us are pessimistics. And the question is, which of those camps do you set up in? Are you an optimist or a pessimist? And the reality is, the biggest question is, if you were standing on the edge of the unknown, which you are, we all are, would you rather be standing on the edge holding the hand of an optimist or a pessimist? The pessimist is saying, oh my God, don't look down, don't lean over, don't go forward. You could lose everything. And what is the optimist saying? Look up, look up. Trust and know there's something within you that knows how to get you to what is next. That's what an optimist says. And the reality is, we're all born optimists. And yet somewhere in our early years, we're trained to become pessimists. We're trained to define our lives by fear rather than optimism. To consider this, children, when they're very young, they're brave, they're courageous, until as they grow, we reel them in. We set boundaries up for them out of our own love and care and concern for them. But nonetheless, we set boundaries for them that define their lives, and we teach them to live within the construct of those boundaries, and they'll be safe. Everything will be fine. Don't color outside those lines because it's dangerous out there. And so what happens is, after a while, we go back and forth in that pattern, that mindset of staying within the boundaries of what is, and don't ever venture to the unknown, that we begin to go back and forth in that mindset, and we build a rut. And that rut goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And pretty soon, you're in a rut and you can't see out of it. And what is a rut? We all know that. A rut is a grave with no ends on it. And it's said that we get out of the rut one of two ways, either through inspiration or desperation. Inspiration lifts us up, and desperation pushes us out. And one is called, the inspiration moves through love and trust and faith, and desperation is through fear and doubt. And so the question is, which of those do you want to let guide your life? If you want to see a good example of how to do it, look to nature. Nature has one of the most beautiful examples in the world, and it's in the form of birds. I had, this is a true story, it's actually in the book. One year while living in California, my house was nestled up in the foothills, and we had a lot of critters around. And every spring, the same family of sparrows would come and build and rebuild the nest under the patio awning in the backyard, which every year they did the same thing. And one year we had a bay window in the kitchen so we could watch these birds doing their thing without disturbing them. And I was so blessed one morning to be there, standing at the kitchen window watching, when the chicks that were hatched decided it was time to leave the nest. And so there was 4 chicks in the nest. The first one comes out of the nest, walks up to the edge of the awning. It's about a 10-foot drop, and he looks down. He looks back up, and his eyes go like this, And I don't speak birdese, but if I did, I think he'd be saying, holy bananas, that's a long way down. I could lose everything, And yet, something within him caused him to flap his wings, truly. And he leaned over and lost his balance, I think intentionally, and fell into the call of gravity. And he flew. He flew around the patio one time and went out into the avocado orchard and lit on the branch of an avocado tree. And there he sat chirping. The second chick came out and did the exact same thing. Third chick did the same thing. Fourth chick came out to the edge, flapped his wings, looked down, looked up again, and went and jumped back in the nest. he wasn't too excited about that. It remind you of any of our children? So the young chick sat there in this nest for 5 minutes, and his siblings were out in the orchard chirping away, having a good time. And I think they were probably, in bird language, encouraging their little sibling to come to the edge and lean over and jump, which he did. He just jumped out of the nest, literally went to the edge and sprang over and began to flap his wings. Didn't even look down. He just flapped his wings. Of course, he flew and went out to the avocado orchard and landed on the tree branch with his other siblings. And they sat there for a minute chirping away and doing the little birdie high fives. It accomplished something quite amazing for them. They had totally broken bonds with their limitations. It came to a whole another level of life. And then they literally took off together from that tree, flew one big victory lap around the orchard, and were off into the ethers to explore their birdness. And I thought to myself, man, that is really a profound lesson. The awareness I had was this, that not once did I see the mother bird or the father bird on the edge with the little chick saying, okay, honey, flap your wings, lean over, trust, know that everything will be fine, say your positive affirmations or you're going to fly. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. There's something within the bird that knew how to fly. And there's something within the bird that it knew how to fly. And it trusted it enough to come to the edge, lean over, and fall into the call of gravity, knowing there was something within the bird that knew how to be a bird. And I would propose this to you. If the Infinite One is able to imbue that level of intelligence to deal with uncertainty in a bird, do you not think that we would also be imbued with the same intelligence to know how to come to the edge of our uncertainties and metaphorically fly into what's next, to know what we need to do and how to get there? Shake your head like this. Yes, we would. We would. There's a great saying in the Zen. It says, move and the way will open. Move and the way will open. It doesn't say sit there on your behind and wait and hope, and if the way opens, then move. It says move first, and the way will open. Ernest Holmes said it another way: treat, and move your feet. I mean, prayer needs to have with it action. To faith without actions is dead, as Paul said. So what I've come up with is 3 questions that you can ask yourself on a daily basis, and they are in the book, The Art of Uncertainty, that you can ask yourself on a daily basis that will help you learn how to come to the edge and help you discern if you are coming to the edge of your uncertainties and learning how to fly, more metaphorically, to take off into what's next in your life. The first question that I would invite you to consider, to ask yourself on a daily basis is, what role does fear play in keeping me stuck where I am? Where in my life am I being stuck rather than moving forward because I'm just flat out frightened? Now, it's very important that we don't demonize fear, because fear is not a bad thing. Some of us wouldn't be on the planet today if we hadn't had fear come up and help us reroute the direction we were going. And yet, as we grow, with the boundary line between what to fear and what not to fear gets blurred. And that is the challenge. A lot of us drag childhood fears into adulthood where they don't belong. A child is only born, from what I understand, with 2 basic fears: the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Consider that. If that's true, every other fear we have is acquired. And if something is acquired emotionally, I think that we can unlearn it as well. That doesn't mean fear goes away, but it means we learn how to deal with it differently. Have you ever noticed that when something scary comes up and you're stuck, your mind sends out a reconnaissance patrol into the darkness, which is a natural fear for kids until they learn to transcend it. And in the darkness, a messenger comes back to us and says, "Don't go that way, man. It's scary out there. You'll lose everything." So fear. Have you noticed that? If you think about it, I know you all know the acronym for fear: false evidence appearing real. And that's what stops us a lot of times, is the evidence we see in front of us that appears so real that it stops us in our tracks. I got another acronym for you for the word fear that is equally, if not more, real. And that's forget everything and run, which is what we do sometimes. We forget everything and we run when something scary pops up in front of us. And so if you were to think about the things we run from, there's 3 touchstones to fear that I would invite you to consider real quick. First, understand you can run, but you can't hide. You can run from your fear, but you can't hide. Why is that? Well, your fear is not out there. It's not out there. Your fear is something that lives within, that ascends from within, that is triggered by something out there. So you can run any place you want to go. You can take the barge up the river of denial on many passageways, but when you come back, your fear will always be there waiting for you to take up where it left off. So you can run, but you can't hide. That's the first thing to remember about fear. The second touchstone of fear is that all fear is attached to death. Concern of loss of something. It could be a physical loss, a loss of a loved one, a loss of a life. Could be but fear can equally be the concern of the death of a relationship, the death of a financial status, the death of a career. There's many faces that fear hides behind that you wouldn't think of it as that, but that's what it is. It's always attached to a concern of loss of something. So the next time you're faced with a fear, just stop and look at what's behind that you're concerned about losing. Sometimes it's just the fear of losing control. That's known as anger or worry. So the third touchstone of fear is to realize that in the East they say we must learn to dance with our demons. That means that rather than run from our fear, that we call it in close, and we embrace it, and we invite it to be our teacher, and that we would perhaps visualize pulling it in for a big hug and whisper in our fear's ear, "Oh, master teacher of the moment, teach me what I need to know so that I can transcend you and move on with my life." That doesn't mean the fear goes away, but it means we rise above it and we see it from a new angle, a new perspective, and then we move on with our lives. How are you breathing? Yeah, I know. So the second question we can ask ourselves on a daily basis is, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of that's keeping me stuck on the edge of the mystery of what's next for me? Sometimes, you don't have to look too far. Everybody on this viewing this morning probably has something in their life that they need to let go of. And in one form or another, we're not always aware of it until we start looking at the question. And one of the ways that you can tell what it is you might need to let go of that you may not be aware that you need to let go of is listen to the stories you tell. Listen to the way you talk when you're not consciously thinking about what you're saying. And you'll continue to tell the same stories over and over and over again throughout the day. And by stories, I mean the things you constantly talk about that are usually in a rut of ain't it bad? Look what he did, look what she did, look at the news, blah, blah, blah. And we continue to talk about the same thing over and over and over again. If you really want to see how true this is, invite someone that you love and loves you, that you trust, to call you on it the next time they hear you telling your story over and over and over again. And you may be amazed. That story is one of the things that's keeping you stuck from moving forward. And the reality is it doesn't always have to be a negative thing that we're talking about that keeps us stuck. The stories we tell. Sometimes it's a very lovely story, but if it keeps us stuck, it keeps us from moving on, then we need to look at it. A good example of this, years ago, 30 years ago or more, I had one of my members when I had a church, came to me, Stan. He was just a lovely old guy. He was 90 years old. And he came to me and he said, I need to talk because I'm really hurting right now. I said, well, Stan, what's going on? He says, well, I'm 90 years old, and I've been a widower now for 5 years. My beloved wife passed, and I got more good miles on me. I want to get back in the game. Now, there's an optimist. But he said, I had no trouble getting dates, right? 90 years old. He says, but I date them once or twice, and they don't want to see me again, and it's really causing me a lot of pain. Can you help me? He said, will you please come to my house and let me tell you more about it, and I'll make you dinner and we'll talk about it. So I did. I went to his home one evening, and he made dinner for me. And while we were eating, he, no sooner began the conversation with talking about his beloved, past, deceased wife. That's all he talked about. I looked around the house, and I saw pictures of her on all the walls. Her clothes still hung in the closet. He still wore a wedding band. None of these things are bad. Please understand, these are not bad things at all. But if they keep you stuck in the past, they need to be looked at. And I pointed that out to Stan. I said, Stan, what you need to know is that you're giving the universe a sign that you're not available. And the women who you're dating, they see that immediately, and they get the message that you're not available. So take a look around you and see what maybe needs to be let go of, physically if not emotionally. He got it. We did some prayer work that night, and I think he got it, because 2 or 3 months later, I saw him walking through the grocery store, true story, walking arm in arm with his fiancée. Yeah, a younger woman, 85 years old. But nonetheless, he came to a point of understanding what he needed to release, as good as it was, to make space to receive something new, a relationship. So it's not always, material things we need to let go of. Sometimes it's emotional things that we need to let go of. So maybe the question we have to ask ourselves on a regular basis is, who would I be if I let go of this, fill in the blank, whatever it is? Who would I be? In Tao Te Ching, there's a great saying. It says, when I let go of who I am, I become who I can be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. Yeah. Take a breath. The third question that we can ask ourselves on a daily basis is this. Do I take time daily to contemplate the amazing gift that's been bestowed upon me? And am I taking time to acknowledge and give thanks to the giver of the gift? Of course, the gift is what? Life itself. Yeah, life itself. Life is, and we take it for granted, life is such a precious pearl of great price. And we don't stop to think about that until we're faced with uncertainty about perhaps losing something that is attached to our life. There's a lot of great practices we can attach to or practice in regard to looking at this question. Do I take time daily to acknowledge the giver of the gift? This practice is encouraging people to really go into self-inquiry. I learned this from my friend Dwayne Elgin out of his book, The Living Universe. He refers to it as the 3 miracles. And this is a self-inquiry practice. There's 3 miracles, if you think about it. The very first miracle is, if you're willing to think about it, is that anything exists. Wow. The miracle that that the universe exists. You go out at night, look at the stars, look at the planets, look at the sky, look at the sun, look at the moon. It's a miracle that all of this exists. The second miracle is that living things exist. Living things exist that have life force in them, pushing out. And when you become aware that there's life force and everything is pushing out, encouraging it to be more, and we live with the awareness of that, it invites us to step more fully into the mystery. And the third miracle is a profound mystery. And that is the miracle that living things exist that know they exist. That would be you and me. Self-awareness, the most profound gift of all. Do you realize how amazing it is that you can think a thought, experience a feeling, and then step outside of that thought or that feeling and look at it, witness it, observe it, interpret it? Whew. That changes the game. Self-awareness is the most profound miracle of all, other than life itself. And it's when we come to a full awareness of these practices that we realize that every time we look in the mirror, we realize that we're looking at the face of the One, the divinity of the One, looking back at us. That's when we know we've arrived at a true understanding of what it means to live in the mystery of life. to be able to gaze it, not have to figure it out, but just to appreciate it, to be one with it, to be one with it. And that's the point when our being self merges with our doing. Here's doing on the surface of life. Here's our being. It's when we can merge our being self with our doing self right here, and to become fully aware of bringing our being nature into our doing. That's the most amazing gift of all, to incorporate in our daily lives awareness of the mystery. Now, that does not mean that the mystery ever stops. What it does mean is that uncertainty will stop in our lives, because we will have let go of the need to know the ending of everything. We're willing to look at the universe as expanding at the speed of light, and even it not knows where it's going. So when we merge into that deeper sense of awareness, be here now, one in, as, through, and is the essence of God, what happens is we become part of the mystery, and we behold it with awe and joy and love. And we realize that our being here isn't a mistake, that we're here on purpose. We're on a mission. I love Richard Bach in his book Illusions. He says, here's a test to know if your mission on earth is completed. If you're alive, it's not. Are you alive? Take your pulse beat. Yeah. Okay. So the point is this, you have more to do or you wouldn't be here. But you have to lean into the edge, over the edge of uncertainty, to see what that is, or what's calling you to what's next. And I close with a great poem by Guillaume Apollinaire, a great French poet, mystic, social pundit. He wrote, "Come to the edge," he said. They said, "No, we're afraid." "Come to the edge," he said. They came. He pushed them. They flew. Come to the edge. There's more for you to do. Take a breath, lean over, and enjoy the view. Peace.
Not gonna worry, I'm not gonna fret, I'm not gonna speculate or contemplate what hasn't happened yet. I'm not gonna worry, I'll put the whole thing in Spirit's care. Won't let it haunt me, I won't let it win. I'm not gonna ruminate or meditate on how it might have been. I'm gonna release it and put the whole thing in Spirit's care. Now worry only makes me old before my time, so I'm letting go. God only knows it just might ease my mind. Not gonna worry, I'm not gonna fret, I'm gonna wait and see, and in between, thanks for what I get. I'll live in the moment and put the whole thing in Spirit's care. Time, so I'm letting go. God only knows it just might ease my mind. Not gonna worry, I'm not gonna fret, I'm gonna wait and see, and in between give thanks for all I get. I'll live in the moment and put the whole thing in Spirit's care. Put the whole thing in Spirit's care. I put the whole thing in Spirit's
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones, for that beautiful, uplifting message, The Art of Uncertainty. Such an important message for times like these. And Bob, you always manage to have the perfect song to go along with every message. And that song, I'm Not Going to Worry, is simply the thing that we just needed to hear at this moment. So thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Bob. And now to everyone listening in, this is our moment of offering. This is how we are honoring our expansion in our own life of abundance by giving sacredly and spiritually. And we're so blessed to have you to be able to support us, to be able to do programs like this, to keep important messages like The Art of Uncertainty and positive messages that you hear through this broadcast. So we want to thank you for doing that. Now, there's 3 easy ways to contribute on our website, which you can see on the screen right now, www.cslsarasota.com. You will see a donate button, which allows you to contribute via PayPal or by credit card. Or you can mail a check to our address, also shown on our website. Or you can set up automatic contributions through your own online banking. And now I invite you to place your hand over your heart, reflecting on your gift and blessing as you share it, and know with me, my gift goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. And the divine flow returns it to me multiplied abundantly. Now, please join with me in reading our offering affirmation together. I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. While we are on our website, I'd like to draw attention to the green prayer request button, and we invite you to use this feature to send us your requests for prayer support. We have 4 licensed spiritual practitioners: Kathleen Frankert, Jim Grove, Jaron Nelson, and me, who are available to know and affirm spiritual truth with and for you in whatever challenge you may be experiencing. Here on our website, you can also sign up and receive our e-newsletter. Please check out our Facebook page for posts about upcoming events and like us on Facebook. And now I have a few announcements. The first announcement is a very important announcement, and that is an event that we're doing led by Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones. It's a centering and a visioning for the future of our center, and it's over 3 consecutive Saturdays from 9 a.m. until noon, and we're doing this virtually, so you can do it from the luxury of your own home. To tune in and be part of this process, it's on October 24th, October 31st, and November 7th. And please sign up. The important thing is that you can make it to all 3 of those times. We would love to have you there. The other announcement is our coffee and chat moments where we gather together on Zoom at 11 a.m. after Sunday. Now, we're doing these on the first Sunday of November and the first Sunday of December. So please mark your calendar, and I hope you can make it. This is a great time. Since we all are starving for connection, this is a time where we can see each other on our little squares like the Brady Bunch on our monitor and be able to connect and check in with everybody and how they're doing. Another thing I would love to share with you, if you haven't seen this already, please check out on our Facebook page, also on our YouTube channel, Jaron Nelson's Pop-Up Prayers. Jaron puts together a special reading and a prayer that she shares, and they're very heartwarming, they're very centering, they're very connecting. So check out those moments called Pop-Up Prayers. And like get the thumbs up or the heart symbol, like and share those, because more people that can hear messages like that, the more we can spread the consciousness of love and of peace and of prayer. And finally, just a reminder, don't forget Jim Grove's Spiritual Living Circles, done by Zoom, through Zoom, every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Each week, Jim facilitates a discussion on an article from the current month's Science of Mind magazine. All are welcome to attend. If you would like to participate, please email Jim at the address shown on your screen, and he will send you the conference invitation along with this week's article and discussion guide. And now, as we adjourn this time together, we thank you for being with us. And please take this moment to join in as Bob leads us in our closing song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Have a great week, everyone.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God our Creator. We are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my solemn